Success is not an accident. It's not something reserved for the lucky few or those born with special talents. It's a choice, a series of habits repeated daily that shape our future. Look around you. Every great leader, every successful entrepreneur, every game changer you admire didn't stumble into greatness. They built it step by step through intentional actions. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 winning habits that don't just lead to success, but actually attract it. These habits separate those who struggle from those who thrive. But here's the truth. Success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter, consistently. And by the end of this speech, you'll know exactly what it takes to turn your goals into reality. So if you're ready to break free from limitations, if you're tired of waiting for the right time, and if you truly want to create the life you deserve, then stay with me, because these 7 habits could change everything for you. Success isn't a coincidence. It's not something you stumble upon or something that just happens because the stars align in your favor. It's something you create deliberately, consistently, and with absolute certainty. Too many people are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for luck to strike, waiting for someone to come along and hand them the opportunity of a lifetime. But success doesn't work that way. It's not something you find, it's something you build. Every single person who has achieved extraordinary success in life didn't get there by accident. They got there because they conditioned themselves for it. They didn't just hope for it, they made it inevitable. And how do you make success inevitable? Through habits. The things you do every single day, consciously or unconsciously, are shaping your future. The question is, are those habits leading you toward success or keeping you stuck exactly where you are? Think about it. Right now, in this very moment, your habits are either moving you forward or pulling you back. There's no in between. If you wake up every morning hitting the snooze button, rolling over, and dreading the day ahead, that's not just a bad morning routine. That's a pattern that shapes your entire life. If you constantly tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, I'll get serious next week, I'll take action when I feel ready, then guess what? Tomorrow turns into next year, and next year turns into never. Because the truth is, success doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards those who take action before they feel ready. Successful people operate differently. They don't leave their future up to chance. They don't rely on motivation because motivation is fleeting. They build habits that make success automatic. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and think, should I do it today? No, you just do it. That's how winning habits work. They become second nature. They become part of who you are. And here's the most powerful part. Once you create habits that align with success, success starts chasing you instead of you chasing it. That's when momentum kicks in. That's when opportunities start showing up, not because of luck, but because you've conditioned yourself to recognize and seize them. Now let me ask you, what are the habits you're practicing right now? Are they empowering you or holding you back? Are you making excuses or making progress? Because here's the deal, winners don't have excuses, and excuses don't create winners. The moment you shift from hoping for success to building the habits that guarantee it, everything changes. It starts with small things, the way you wake up, the way you approach challenges, the way you talk to yourself when things get tough. Every action, no matter how small, is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And if you want to be successful, you have to start acting like it before you feel like it. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Success is not reserved for a chosen few. It's not something that happens to other people. It's something that's available to you right now if you're willing to commit to the habits that create it. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to decide today that you will no longer accept mediocrity. Because the moment you decide, the moment you commit, the moment you make success a habit and not just a wish, that's the moment everything begins to change. There's one thing that separates people who succeed from those who stay stuck, and it has nothing to do with talent, intelligence, or luck. It's mindset. The way you think shapes everything, your actions, your results, your entire life. And the people who attract success, who make things happen, who turn their dreams into reality, they don't think the way most people do. They have something called a growth mindset. See, most people have been conditioned to believe that their abilities are fixed, that their intelligence is set in stone, that they're either good at something or they're not. They say things like, I'm just not that smart. I'm not a natural leader. Or I've never been good at business. And the moment you tell yourself that story, you make it true. You lock yourself in a box. You put a ceiling on your own potential. And that ceiling, it's not real. It's an illusion you created, and it's holding you back from everything you're capable of. Now, people with a growth mindset, they think differently. They don't see failure as a reason to quit. They don't see challenges as roadblocks. They see everything, every setback, every obstacle, every rejection as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to get better. They understand that success isn't about being perfect, it's about being adaptable, about constantly improving, about pushing beyond what you thought was possible. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think they got it right the first time? Do you think they never faced failure? Of course not. They failed more times than most people have even tried. The difference is they never let failure define them. They used it, they learned from it, they adjusted their approach and kept going. Because here's the truth. Failure is only permanent if you quit. But if you learn from it, if you use it as feedback, then failure isn't the end. It's just a stepping stone to success. The way you talk to yourself in those moments, when things don't go as planned, that's what determines your future. Most people hit a wall and they start making excuses. I guess this wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But people with a growth mindset ask different questions. They say, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? What's the next step? That shift alone changes everything. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. The more you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, the more you expand what's possible for you. But if you never challenge yourself, if you never step beyond what feels safe, you stay the same. And if you stay the same, how can you expect different results? People who achieve extraordinary things are obsessed with learning. They never assume they know it all. They read, they study, they ask questions, they surround themselves with people who challenge them to be better, and most importantly, they take action on what they learn, because knowledge without action is worthless. The moment you decide to adopt a growth mindset, you take control of your future, you stop letting circumstances dictate your success, you stop waiting for things to get easier and start getting stronger. Because life will never stop throwing challenges your way, but the stronger you become, the smaller those challenges will feel. This is the mindset that attracts success. Not wishing, not hoping, not waiting for the right time, just a relentless commitment to learning, growing, and becoming the kind of person who can handle success. Because success isn't something you achieve, it's something you become. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to achieve more, to have more, to be more. But here's the truth. Wanting it isn't enough. Feeling inspired isn't enough. Even having a plan isn't enough. Because none of that matters if you don't have the discipline to follow through when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between the people who win and the people who don't. It's not motivation, it's discipline. Motivation is easy, it's exciting, it's that rush of energy you feel when you set a new goal, when you watch an inspiring video, when you hear a great speech. But motivation fades, it disappears the moment things get hard. It's unreliable, and if you're relying on motivation to carry you to success, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Because what happens on the days you don't feel like putting in the work? What happens when the excitement is gone? That's when discipline kicks in. And discipline is what separates the people who succeed from the people who quit. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They don't wake up every morning feeling inspired, but they do wake up every morning and do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They've trained themselves to take action no matter what, and that's the secret. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your discipline. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal, felt fired up about it, and then a few weeks later that fire started to die out? Maybe it was going to the gym, starting a business, learning a new skill. In the beginning you were excited, you were ready to go all in, but then life happened, you got tired, you got distracted, maybe you hit a roadblock, and suddenly that goal didn't feel as urgent, and before you knew it, you were right back where you started. Sound familiar? That's why discipline is everything. Discipline is showing up when no one's watching. Discipline is doing the work even when there's no immediate reward. Discipline is sticking to your commitments long after the excitement is gone. It's easy to be committed when things are going well. It's easy to put in the effort when you're seeing results. But what about when it feels like nothing is happening? What about when it feels like all your effort is going unnoticed? That's where most people give up. That's where most people break. And that's exactly why most people never achieve their full potential. The ones who make it, the ones who truly succeed, are the ones who push through that phase. They show up day after day, no matter what. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They take action again and again until success is the only possible outcome. You want to be fit? You don't train when you feel like it. You train because you said you would. You want to build a business? You don't work on it when inspiration strikes. You work on it every single day, even when it feels like you're making no progress. You want to master a skill? You don't practice only when it's fun. You practice because mastery is the result of repetition, not motivation. The people who win in life have mastered the ability to act regardless of how they feel. They understand that discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And every time you push yourself to follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you strengthen that discipline. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the easier it becomes to take action. The truth is, there will always be days when you don't feel like showing up. There will always be moments when quitting seems like the easier option. But in those moments, you have a choice. You can choose to fall back into old patterns, into excuses, into comfort, or you can choose to push through, to rise above, to stay committed to the future you want to create. Because in the end, success isn't about how badly you want it. It's about how disciplined you are willing to be to make it happen. Ideas are worthless without action. Dreams, goals, vision, none of it means anything if you don't back it up with action, and not just any action. Massive, relentless, consistent action, the kind of action that moves the needle, that creates momentum, that forces progress even when the odds are against you. Because here's the truth, the people who succeed in life are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the ones with the best resources. They're the ones who take action, period. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, waiting until they feel ready, waiting for someone to give them permission. And that's why most people never break through. They stay stuck in the same cycle, the same patterns, the same excuses, convincing themselves that one day things will magically fall into place. But let me tell you something. There is no perfect time. There is no magical moment when everything lines up and success knocks on your door. You either take action now or you spend your life watching others do it. The biggest killer of dreams is hesitation. The second you hesitate, the second you start overthinking, your mind fills with doubts. You start questioning whether you're good enough, whether you know enough, whether you have what it takes. And before you know it, you've talked yourself out of taking that first step. That's how most people live. They let fear, uncertainty, and doubt paralyze them. And they don't realize that the only way to silence those doubts is to move, to act. Because action is the cure for fear. Think about something you've been putting off. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, getting in shape, or taking a risk that could change your life. What's stopping you? I'll tell you, nothing real, just a story you've been telling yourself, a story about why you can't do it yet, why the timing isn't right, why you need to figure out more before you start. But the truth is, you don't need more time, more knowledge, more preparation. You need to start now with whatever you have, wherever you are. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know every step in advance. You just have to take the first step. And once you do, momentum kicks in. You start learning, adjusting, getting better. You start seeing progress, and suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes doable. But none of that happens if you never take that first step. Successful people aren't the ones who always know what they're doing. They're the ones who start before they feel ready. They're the ones who jump in, who figure things out along the way, who understand that progress is more important than perfection, because perfection is just another form of procrastination. Most people waste years preparing, planning, researching, convincing themselves that they're being productive when really they're just avoiding taking real action. They spend so much time getting ready to start that they never actually start. And then they look back years later wondering why nothing changed. But the ones who make things happen, they don't wait, they don't hesitate, they take action, fail fast, learn quickly, and keep moving forward. They understand that success is a process of trial and error, of adapting, of doing whatever it takes to figure it out. They don't sit around hoping for clarity, they create it by doing. And here's the best part. Once you start taking action, everything else gets easier. The hardest part is always the beginning, pushing past that initial resistance, getting over the fear of failure. But once you get moving, you realize that action creates clarity, progress fuels motivation, and small wins build confidence. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is action, not ideas, not potential, not talent. Action. So if you're waiting for a sign, here it is. If you've been waiting for permission, you don't need it. The time is now. The person who's going to change your life is you. The only question is, are you going to step up and make it happen? Success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you surround yourself with. The people in your life are either lifting you up or pulling you down. There is no neutral. Every conversation you have, every relationship you invest in, every environment you put yourself in is either pushing you toward success or keeping you exactly where you are. And if you're serious about leveling up, about breaking through, about achieving something extraordinary, you need to take a hard look at the people around you. Most people don't realize just how much influence their inner circle has on them. They don't see how the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of the people they spend time with slowly become their own. You hang around people who complain all the time, pretty soon you start complaining too. You surround yourself with people who make excuses, who settle for less, who talk about how life is unfair. That mentality starts creeping into your own thinking, whether you realize it or not. And before you know it, you're living the same life as them, stuck, frustrated, full of unrealized potential. But successful people, they do things differently. They are intentional about who they let into their lives. They seek out people who challenge them, who inspire them, who demand more from them. They understand that if they want to elevate their life, they have to elevate their standards for the people they associate with. Because energy is contagious, mindsets are contagious. And if you're not careful, you'll catch someone else's limitations before you even realize it. Take a look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you to be better? Are they challenging you to grow? Are they showing you what's possible? Or are they feeding your doubts, reinforcing your fears, and keeping you comfortable? Because comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're always the smartest, most driven person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be around people who make you step up, who force you to think bigger, who don't let you settle for average. This doesn't mean you cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean you have to be mindful of how much time and energy you give to certain relationships. Some people drain you, some people distract you, and some people push you forward. You need to know the difference because your future depends on it. The fastest way to grow is to be around people who are already doing what you want to do. Success leaves clues. When you surround yourself with winners, with people who are playing the game at a higher level, you start thinking differently. You start believing in bigger possibilities. You start picking up their habits, their strategies, their mindset. And before you know it, you're operating on a completely different level. If you don't have those people in your life right now, go find them. Read their books. Listen to their podcasts. Join groups, communities, masterminds where people are moving in the direction you want to go. Invest in mentorship, in relationships that expand your thinking, because the right connections can shorten your learning curve, open doors you never imagined, and completely change the trajectory of your life. Most people stay stuck because they're trying to do everything alone. They think they have to figure it all out by themselves, but the most successful people in the world, they surround themselves with the right people. They seek out mentorship. They learn from those who have already walked the path because they know that proximity is power. Look around at the people in your life. Look at the conversations you're having every day. Look at the energy you're surrounding yourself with. If it's not elevating you, it's limiting you. And if you're serious about success, about growth, about becoming the person you were meant to be, then you have to make a choice. Do you stay comfortable, surrounded by people who keep you playing small? Or do you step up, seek out the right influences, and put yourself in an environment that forces you to grow? Because in the end, your success will not just be determined by what you do. It will be determined by who you choose to surround yourself with. There's one habit that sets apart the people who create lasting success from those who only experience it in short bursts. It's not just about working hard. It's not just about being disciplined. It's about the ability to adapt. Because no matter how talented you are, no matter how well you plan, life will throw unexpected challenges at you. The people who win are not the ones who avoid obstacles. They're the ones who know how to navigate them, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward no matter what. Most people resist change. They want things to be predictable, stable, comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. The world is constantly evolving, and if you're not willing to evolve with it, you're setting yourself up to be left behind. The most successful people don't cling to old ways of doing things just because that's how it's always been done. They don't let setbacks derail them. They don't complain when things don't go according to plan. They shift. They pivot. They look at every challenge as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become even stronger. Think about the most successful companies in the world. The ones that stay at the top are the ones that innovate. They don't just keep doing the same thing year after year, hoping it will continue to work. They pay attention, they see what's changing, they adapt before they have to. And that's exactly what successful people do in their own lives. They don't wait for a crisis to force them to change. They stay ahead of the game. They anticipate, they adjust, they take control of their own destiny instead of being a victim of circumstance. The people who struggle are the ones who get stuck in their ways. They keep repeating the same patterns, expecting different results. They refuse to let go of old beliefs, old habits, old strategies that no longer serve them. And when things don't go their way, they blame the economy, the market, their past, their circumstances, anything except themselves. But the ones who thrive, who achieve real and lasting success, they take ownership. They don't waste energy resisting reality. They focus on what they can control. And what they can control is their ability to adapt. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the mindset that no matter what happens, you will figure it out. That no challenge is bigger than your ability to overcome it. That no setback is permanent unless you allow it to be. And when you develop that mindset, nothing can stop you. Because no matter what life throws at you, you will always find a way forward. The key is to stay open. Open to new ideas, new strategies, new ways of thinking. The moment you think you know it all, the moment you believe you've got everything figured out, that's the moment you start falling behind. The most successful people are lifelong learners. They are always growing, always improving, always willing to challenge their own beliefs. Because they understand that what got them here won't get them to the next level. It's about developing the ability to adjust quickly, not getting stuck in analysis paralysis, not waiting until you have a perfect plan, but making decisions, testing things out, learning from experience, and course correcting as needed. It's about staying flexible while staying committed to your vision. Your goal doesn't change, but your strategy might. And if you're too rigid, too unwilling to adapt, you'll miss out on the opportunities that could take you exactly where you want to go. Most people spend their lives reacting. They wait until they're forced to change. They only start making adjustments when they have no other choice. But the people who create real success don't wait. They stay ahead of the curve. They embrace change before it's necessary. They don't fear the unknown because they trust in their own ability to figure it out. And that trust, that's what gives them the confidence to take bigger risks, to step outside their comfort zone, to pursue the kind of success most people only dream about. So if you want to be successful, stop holding on to what's familiar just because it feels safe. Stop resisting the change that could be the very thing that takes you to the next level. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Learn to love the process of growth, of evolution, of becoming more than you were yesterday. Because the ones who adapt, the ones who stay open, the ones who trust themselves to navigate anything, that's who wins in the end.